right. Hello, we're live. And Mary, what do you see? With our guest host Rozalia. Hi, Rozalia. Mary had a personal issue and wasn't going to be able to make it back in time. So you were so kind to step in, and this is kind of like um anything goes tonight. So I'm gonna let Rozalia, what do you want to start with, or do you want to start with like a tarot?
Yeah, sure. So I was actually thinking we'd start with some tarot and then open
Okay.
up some discussion, and then perhaps I will go into the astrology chart and talk about like the current transit. Um, I am also very thankful for Mary for inviting me and asking me to step in. I felt that obviously takes a lot of trust, and I was like very thankful for that. Um, so I hope that you guys like the show with me in it today.
Hi,
Uh,
Sunshine. Yep.
so I will. Hi, sunshine. Cool. So I will
Hmm.
start with a tarot reading,
Okay.
and I will just read collectively and see how you guys are feeling, what to expect.
Okay,
Cool. So, what does our audience need to know?
I'm trying to think. Hello, Ashley. Let's see. They're kind of coming in.
Okay.
Oh, hi, Chantel. Mm.
Okay. So I'm just gonna reshuffle because people are coming in, and I just feel like
Okay.
we can restart.
Well, let me do this little thing before. I know that Mary's not here. We're not really going over crazy stuff, but just I don't know. Like the I'm gonna play the little disclaimer thingy. Do that real quick.
This show is for entertainment purposes only. We have all the information available to the general public and whatever Spirit wants to add. Mary is a psychic medium that is merely the messenger, so if you don't like the message, take it up with Spirit.
All right. Yeah.
Yeah, Mary is good. She just couldn't make it today.
She's not sick. But she didn't want to do a rerun, and I know she reached out to you, and she 'cause she wants you to write the forward in her book.
That's right. I felt like that was such a beautiful thing to ask me to do because I've never had anyone ask me that. So,
Oh yeah, she's
so I look forward to doing that. That's going to be really cool. Um, I mean, writing is one of
oh,
my many pleasures, so it's obviously very exciting.
well. Mary's in the chat. Hi, Mary. Hello.
Hey, Mary, thanks for making me an anchor today. I really appreciate that. Super fun. All right, so I felt like I would start with a tarot reading to kind of see what you guys need to
Mhm.
be aware of, what can you expect, and any kind of advice moving forward. So let's dive in. And this is collective and very general, so it might relate to all of you or none of you. Take what resonates and leave the rest. So if it doesn't resonate, don't try to put it into your story. I think that's very important because the
Mhm.
mind is the most important thing that we can protect. And if it does resonate, use it to guide you on your day and help you along your path. So show me what the audience is feeling, thinking, what do they need to know?
Okay.
Wow. I'm
Hi,
pulling a few
Joyce.
cards.
Okay.
I'm pulling a few cards, yeah. Okay, so it looks like there's a story here. So I've actually been seeing this a lot, and it's not to say that we're being left out in the cold or feeling abandoned or rejected or insecure or lack. But I have been seeing this energy quite a bit. Maybe lots of you are going through breakups, going through separations, um, releasing and letting go, and walking away from energies of victim. So, victim energies, victim base.
Mhm.
Maybe you're walking away from a part of yourself that felt like a victim, or walking away from a part of yourself that felt they didn't have enough to manifest abundance in their life. But the reason I'm saying you're walking away from that is because the Eight of Cups is here. And it feels kind of like I'm no longer dealing with these kind of energies that make me feel small. I'm no longer giving power to my insecurities. I'm no longer giving power to feelings of lack or not having enough. I'm no longer giving power to my fears that if I, go after my dreams or go after those things that are fulfilling, that I'm going to be left out in the cold, that I'll have no one, that I'll be alone, that I'll be rejected. And there's a need here to just surrender to that. So let go and surrender and trust that, hey, like if I walk away from this pain or this kind of victim mentality, I'll be okay. I'll be protected. I'll be able to have new opportunities that are emotionally fulfilling. Page of Cups. So I can go after what I want and not be afraid to go after what you want. That really expresses your true emotions. That make your heart flutter a little bit and pushes you forward and really heals the creative aspects of yourself as well, and makes you feel free. So going after that fish in the water that you may have been chasing or trying to find, that's special, and being also happy with what you have. So protecting your peace, Four of Cups. And I feel like this is actually what's going to create more of an energy of generosity and being more receptive to other people, but also to your own needs, being more generous, and being happy to give, but also to receive, not being afraid to receive because you're grateful for what you have. So, kind of like not being in that chase anymore, but just kind of like sitting down and allowing opportunities to come your way. So, I feel like we are being asked to, on a collective level, because I feel like this kind of rejection energy is Chiron related in astrology. Chiron, the wounded healer. We're all kind of healing any kind of victim mentality, feelings of not having enough, not being enough, not being able to have what we think that we should have, and letting go of these desires that make us push to go, 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 and be more content with where we are, and being able to allow energies to give to us so that we can feel successful in everything that we have accomplished thus far. So recognizing all of our accomplishments thus
And
far.
knowing, well, I also feel like success doesn't necessarily mean monetarily.
Yeah.
Like that's what we're so programmed. That's where it goes to be successful. And I'm like, no, some of the people that have the most money are the most miserable.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. And like another thing that when you say and you mentioned that is like I was actually thinking about it today. Like, we often feel like we need money to be able to make things happen. It's like, yes, we do need money, but sometimes that's like the thing that makes you miserable is always asking, okay, I need more, I need more, I need more, I need more in order to make something happen. But that actually keeps us from recognizing that we can still get what we want where we are if we just take smaller steps, as opposed to feeling like, okay, I need this big lump money so I can take this big step to get to where I actually want to be, right? And
Doesn't
I feel
that kind of like also have almost like the opposite effect? It pushes it away. Like have you ever had those like like where you're in the moment, or just it just comes, or it like you need to pay something or something, and just an opportunity just appears.
yeah, like law of attraction.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, absolutely. You bring up a really good point. I've actually been reading this book. It's called Real Magic, and it's actually by this psychologist who studies psi, like parapsychology and like ESP and things like that. And he actually talks about how it's not about chasing money or saying, "Hey, I need money." Because when you say you need money, you actually attract less because you're like you're telling the universe that you don't have the money because you need it. But you can embody yourself in the money or the abundance that you want to have, like putting your body in it or stepping into it. So let's say, for example, like I'm like, I am ready to have like $1,000 a day. You embody yourself into that $1,000 a day. Like, this is how it feels like to have this on a daily basis, and like really feel that. Like, this is what it feels like to have that. And I practice this meditation, and I'm telling you, something changes in your body alignment. Like opportunities start to come, and and you actually start to feel more stable and secure, and it really, really balances that root chakra, like embodying the feeling of already having it, as opposed to feeling like you don't have it and need to have it.
Right. Like you have that stabilization without it, but it's like it'll come, but you don't need that to, it's not like you're going to fall off the deep end or.
Yeah, exactly. Like
Yeah.
you feel like you already have it, and that is that gives you that stability already, because you've kind of put yourself in that vibration just by stepping into it. And that is like a very powerful place to be, I feel like. And I feel like we're all kind of like collectively maybe going through that, walking away from like, hey, like I don't have enough or I'm not enough, and stepping into your power of like, what I have is good, and I know what I know how to feel good, and that feeling of good attracts actually what you may have intended on having in the first place, for example.
Like I mean, somewhat like every night before I always have take gratitude. I always kind of, I don't know if you could call that praying or just, but I was just grateful for what I have, and that, put that intent and putting that intent forward. I've noticed, and I'm just, I have like a small like group of friends. I don't know. I think I'm going through that. Like I want to be out there a little bit more, but I'm just very still guarded because, I don't know. Do you find what you do? I mean, you have clients. Do you have like a very like, have you ever gone beyond like client and become friends with someone, or is that something that like, and then they're no longer your client then at that point? You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's actually one of those barriers that I do struggle with, because I'm so friendly, that my clients often do become my friends, like energetically, emotionally, like they're sharing with me their problems, their life, their emotions, their thoughts, their feelings, right? So it becomes very personal. And I like that you asked this question. And one of my struggles, because I'm so empathetic, and I actually struggled with overgiving when I was younger, that sometimes they cross a line where they'll like not book a session and instead text me and ask me questions, right? Or tell me about their life or tell me about their problems. And then I have to kind of like slowly guide them to the business, because it's like, I know that I've kind of let you in like that, but now we have like a line that I have to create. So there is a little bit of like an emotional exchange, and it does create a little bit of conflict. But I have some clients that have become my friends because I haven't had to set that boundary with them. They just know that when
they respect it.
they respect it without me having to have to always tell them over and over and over again, like, if you need a session, you book a session. If you want to talk to me like a friend, then you're not talking to me about like your problems and challenges and obstacles that you are asking advice for, right? Or consulting the cards or needing to vent. You're just telling me, friend things. So those clients, I consider them my friends, and I actually open up to them as well slowly, because they're not taking advantage of my kindness.
Exactly. Yeah.
So there's a line. And I've had clients that have become like my friends and very long term, but they became no longer my clients. Like they no longer started to buy sessions from me, but that's okay. Like
but they weren't keep asking it. It just evolved into
exactly.
something.
It just evolved into something different. Yeah. So that's fine. You know what I mean? That's life.
My thing is like, I would, when I would go out, you never tell a drunk woman that you're a hairstylist. I'm like, I don't like, I would just give them my card. I go, I'm sorry, I'm not working. If you want to come in for consultation, I'll do that for you. But no.
Yeah.
So
and those lines they're hard to create. I always feel very, because I just want to give, but I don't want to be taken advantage of either. That those lines are hard to give because it's like that you're creating a firm dialogue with this person that you created an emotional exchange with. So it's like, inside it creates a little bit of like a detachment from the heart, and you're trying to do it a little bit logically and rationally. So, but I've managed to become the master in that Queen of Swords, like very Libra, like
I
very
find
diplomatic.
if you kind of state it first, then I will kind of like judge if they're respecting, that, and if they're not, I'll kind of, I have in my own little system of, how long I'll put up with it.
Yeah. Some clients, they don't respect it. Like they just don't understand. Like you tell them over and over and over again, and they will continue to test you anyhow. And those clients are difficult because you can't necessarily call them out on it. Like you have to tell them, you just have to repeat yourself over and over and over again. And like those are the clients that cause me probably a little bit more stress than there should be. But
that's when my snarkiness comes out. I can kind of, it's kind of like it's like how you say it, I guess. Like, it's like they'll get the point, but it won't be really mean, but I'll kind of like,
yeah. I'm typically pretty direct, but kind, because you still, like, I used to work in customer service my whole life. Like I worked at Tim Hortons as my first job. And then
we have those.
I worked as a cashier, and then I worked as a server at restaurants, like I was a waitress, and then as a bartender, and then I did event parties. So I've been customer service based my whole life. And then I was a personal trainer and a nutritionist with people at a gym. So I was actually like very like person to person focused. So when I started my business 7 years ago, I was already very like client, like I'm capable of talking to people. But I know that the customer is not always right. I learned a lot.
No.
That's not the case. They will try to take as much as they can, no matter what. You can give them a discount, and you can give them extra time, and you can give them.
But then they expect that.
They expect it, and not only do they expect it, but then they try to take more, and that is the difficult. And then you have to create a line.
Yeah.
So
succubus.
Yeah. But in some ways I don't blame them either, because it's like if it's worked for them, usually what it is that pattern of behavior worked for them with somebody else.
Right. Or somebody gets really irate or something, and they do that because people, and when it doesn't, I'm just like, are you done now? It takes it. Yeah.
I agree. Correct about clients, or just like friends, totally. And I think too, like one of my biggest challenges working as a psychic on the psychic platforms, because I worked on Cassandra and Purple Ocean, I still use those platforms. But one of my most difficult, challenging aspects is that everything there is review based. So after a session, a person reviews you, and it's public. Okay.
Oh, okay.
So
one person or a group of people, or is it just open for anyone? One?
Yeah.
What if that person doesn't
get what they want, right?
Yeah.
So that's usually been my challenge, where like I would have a session with the person, and then I'd finish the session, and then they would message me offline the session and try to get more information. And I think that's probably the most difficult thing, is telling them, hey, if you want to continue, like, call me, right? And let's say they don't like that, they just give you a bad review, right? And that is like,
and that's not okay. That's not, yeah.
But it exists, and it has happened. And those are one of my most challenging things, is like not letting that fear tactic, where the client kind of takes the power into their own hands and uses it against you. And that exists, and it doesn't just exist on those platforms. I'm sure people deal with that stuff all the time, like that take reviews for Google, or like take reviews that are public, right? Like when you're dealing with
they almost threaten you with that, like, and it's like, No, because I've had that happen, or I just let it play out and just usually, I don't know. I don't know. I took a step back from customer service just because lately, I don't know, is most of them where you get that chatbot now. It's like I'm like, and then it's just they don't really have, and then you go and you know what customer service is like, and I don't know if it really exists like it did. Like people like going into a store and they're on their phones.
Oh yeah, it's a little different now. Like,
Yeah.
but it still exists. Like people on they're on digital, right? They're on chat or on the phone. Like you're still
Hmm.
people, right? And everything now is on the internet. Like now, reviews are more public. Like people's stuff are more public. So like as soon as you have a business, you're public. So you're always having to have to deal with the repercussions of that, whether they're real or they're just kind of like projected as a possibility.
Hmm.
It's like where do you draw the line between customer satisfaction and making sure
Abuse
that
or yeah.
abuse, like
Yeah.
not being like
Maybe.
making sure your boundaries aren't like taken for granted.
Exactly. I mean, the one thing I learned how to talk, like I can get pretty much whatever I need. Once I talk to a human, I can usually work it and I'll get, the refund plus, credit or whatever. And so knowing how to listen and talk to people like in that situation, if but I think people are just they're more disconnected. Oh, did I do something?
It's just like
Sorry. I don't know. I'm like, I do have at least my camera isn't auto focusing. So um
so I thought
yeah.
I would go into astrology. I'm going to share the screen here.
Okay.
And I thought that I would talk about what we're doing right now with the current transits. And I will talk about the planets to the best of my abilities and what I see. Um,
So should I add
yeah,
here?
just share the current one that yeah.
Okay.
There we go. Cool. So this is just a general, like what's going on right now in the current transit. And I feel like this helps, this can really help us kind of understand what's going on, what can we focus on, what can we expect, especially since we've had a major recent transit. Saturn went into Aries, and Saturn is ruled by Capricorn. It is a very industrial planet, meaning it's quite focused on our foundations. So, like in a practical matter, if we were to relate it to the tarot, it's like the Seven of Pentacles. It's like I've put in the work, I've built my crops, I've created my farm, I've created my home, I've created my relationships, I've created my job, my career, I've been here for a while, it's been built. And what are the results to that? And our responsibility to that? It is our foundation. And it takes about 27 to 28 years for Saturn to orbit the sun, to go through all of the 12 constellations. And it actually finished off its 27 or I think 28-year cycle in February when it went into Aries. And that's in tropical astrology, guys. So Saturn going into Aries is a complete new start. It's like, hey, now it's time for me to reinvent myself. Now it's time for me to restructure who I used to be. And this is the first house, so it's the root chakra. So if you guys know anything about the chakra system, the root chakra is like our belief systems, it's our conditioning, it's our stability, our security, our money, our beliefs about money, our beliefs about abundance. It's how we share our traditions, our bloodline, how we relate to our parents, how we were brought up. And that's the root chakra. So, however you were brought up in the last 27 years, okay, let's say, for example, okay, you studied, you went to school, you got married, you did the whole shebang. Okay, you followed a system in which you were conditioned by your root chakra to follow, okay? And you took a chance, okay, with the beliefs that you had. And you reached the end here after 27 years, okay? Saturn went into Aries, left Pisces. You closed out this big cycle, and suddenly you're like, I think it's time to change my life. I think it's time to reinvent myself. I think it's time to restructure myself. And so this is kind of an opportunity for reinvention of your root chakra. Like, if I were to do it again, how would I do it? What do I believe? What do I believe is healthy? So maybe you just had a family. So maybe the last 30 years you were a child to your parents, and the next 30 years you're actually a parent, becoming a parent to your own children. So it's like you're changing maybe the way that you raise your kids compared to how you were raised, or you're changing the way that you work or relate to money and abundance compared to how you were raised. And there's this kind of change or redefinement in your belief system. So it's an opportunity for you to kind of try again, like it's a second start. And you could be changing your whole life. You can become a completely new person here, because the first house is the house of self, identity, and personality. So it's an opportunity for you to make it about yourself. And it's a self. Aries is selfish. This is ruled by Aries. So Saturn in Aries. Aries is selfish.
See, I was going to ask you what that means going into self, and I think that I can kind of sense that just with everything, how it feels like society's just falling apart, and you're left to create your, like, what are you going to do with this? So everything that you knew isn't as stable, or there's no, like, I don't know, like, it's literally society is being dismantled, and it's like, where are you going to go with it? What are you going to, yeah. So
Yeah,
that's
I
what I've been
think,
feeling. I mean,
yeah, you're not the only one feeling that. That is like that's disruption, and this disruption is happening because um, we are like the leaders right now. For example, we're looking up at our leaders and we're saying, hey, like, how are you guiding us? Where are you taking us? What is the next 30 years going to look like? Because we don't know. And Aries is a leader. Aries is the boss. Aries is the emperor. But Aries is also the fool. So if Aries doesn't understand the right structure or the right system or the right rules or the right government to create that feeds other people correctly, then he's still foolish, and he makes risky and foolish decisions.
mm-hmm.
So right now, or for the next maybe 2.5 years while Saturn is in Aries, there is this like power struggle between people who are just like, I don't really care. I'm just going to take risks and I'm just going to do anything. Whatever. Oh, I want to go after this dream. I'm just going to do that. Oh, I want to change my life. I'm just going to do that. And it's just very foolish, jumping off the cliff, hoping that people catch us. But
Mm-hmm.
emperor people will be like, oh, I am changing the game. This is the new rule. This is the new system. This is the new structure. And the only issue with that is that there's going to be a bunch of like people just wanting to take control and change the system. That's not a bad thing, but it doesn't.
But yeah, too many people going at it. Yeah, it can be a little bit of chaos.
Yeah, no longer collective matter, becomes very individual. And so then thus everybody is trying to bring in their own rules and what they think a healthy root system is, so root chakra, but nobody can come to an agreement.
Right. Yeah.
So that's the challenge. And my advice, and I'm not saying I'm advising world leaders, but my advice to just everybody that is doing the work right now when it comes to their root chakra and re-identifying themselves, who do they want to be, who do they want to become, how do they want to teach their children, really becoming conscious of any kind of unconscious patterns that they may have accumulated from their past lives or from their parents or from early generations that were destructive. So anything that was unhealthy, destructive, negative, violent, chaotic, that causes pain to yourself or to others, to look at that and to work on that. And, nobody's perfect. Everybody has their wounds. But what's important is that you become aware of those things so that you can take accountability. And when everybody starts taking accountability, then there can be change. Then there can be societal change when Saturn reaches Taurus and a new government is created. So
See, I've always told people I'm like, own your shit, and I don't mean that in a materialistic way. I mean that like in what you do, own it.
Yeah.
If you like you can't know everything. You can't be so be I guess it's like when you're in a social group and there's always that person that knows everything, and it's like whatever. I don't get in confrontation. I just usually ask questions or try to put it that way. But so like now is a good time. You're saying like let all that trauma or that past negative, it's a new chance to like start over. Like if the energies are kind of helping you go that way or
yeah, you got it.
Yeah.
It's an opportunity to start over. And I think the person that asks the most questions is the smartest, because you're the one that's accumulating all the information. And you're also the one that's observing everybody else and their behaviors, right?
Yeah, that's why. I mean, some crowds I'm just like, nope. Too much.
Yeah. Igret asked me a question. Do you know anything about the day we're born? It has to mean something. Symbolically or like a meaning of it, I don't know what it means in depth. I just know that it definitely changes the planetary system in your astrology chart. And then also, if you believe in or you practice numerology, it does influence your life path and your destiny path, and your personality path and things like this, which actually creates some kind of personality or characteristic.
It's like an energetic imprint or kind of for that moment, that time, that intersection, kind of, yeah.
Yeah. And then also like in astrology, we're split up into 3 decans, which is like, so like, let's say, for example, I'm a Libra and I'm born on the 18th of October. So I'm on the edge of Libra Scorpio. So I'm the 3rd decan. But someone who's born like on the 10th, they're decan 2nd, and someone who's born like really early in the month are the 1st decan. And it actually speaks about like your maturity and your experience being that zodiac in that life. So whether you're an experienced Libra or you're like a newbie Libra, it shows based off of the day that you're born. I'm not sure if that helps, but
I'm supposed to, I think I'm on the cusp, Cancer Leo.
Oh, that's pretty awesome.
Like July 25th.
Okay.
So
yeah.
Because I do identify a lot in Cancer, but like I don't have a lot of those Leo like center of attention, blah blah blah. I've been, I'm definitely not a full Leo.
You're in conflict.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's cuspers are in conflict because it's like you want to feel comfortable in your initial zodiac that you have experience in. Like the Cancer, you feel probably you're very homebody, introspective, emotionally empathetic, and you're very like you're either attached to your mother or you're very motherly in the sense where you're like a nurturer, and that's Cancer energy. But then Leo is very vibrant and like out there and very social and public, and they love to be the center of attention. So it's like if it's so new to you that it's almost intimidating, but if you step into that, that's like your power.
Well, Mary gave me, this kind of fell into place, like me doing this and being on YouTube. It took a while to be in front of a camera, but literally I'm pushing myself, but it's totally new. It just happened. And so I feel like, in some ways, like, okay, I'm just going with the flow, like learn as I go. But I think it's rewarding but it's new still. So I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, you're definitely doing a great job because you've been YouTubing now for like 2 years, I think. So, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, well, now I just got a computer, so I mean, well, I was using my tablet, but it's, yeah, I don't know. I put my best, and that's all I can do, and I enjoy it. And Mary is the type of person that makes you want to do better. She just has that. She's just, I mean, yeah. So that was just something that
Mary's gonna watch this and she's gonna gush.
yeah. Well, I know she knows this. I mean, yeah. It's like you can't really get, you can't really slip one by, Mary. But I have nothing to hide. That's kind of like the refreshing aspect. Like, it's kind of like I got that start over, and I'm gonna pick the people that make me. I don't have to. I can be myself. I don't have to put on a just. I can say something without that getting that look. I guess.
Do you feel comfortable and like secure?
I am, but I'm still learning. I mean, I'm just putting my, I guess. Well, usually, I mean, this is, I don't know. Mary usually goes, so like I'm just like, I guess dead space. I guess you're not supposed to have dead space. I'm like, but I don't know. I'm not really structured. Like, I'm more laid back. So, things and I do want to appreciate like you coming on. The real deal. Is there anything that you like just with things going on now, or that that you've noticed? Not like specifics with your clients, but like just an overall tone. Is it
energetically, like
energetically? Yeah.
I mean, based on like just what I said about the becoming more kind of secure and stable and re-identifying ourselves, what I've noticed or what has come up, usually it changes, like it changes week by week. So I haven't seen anything large in effect. I did notice in March that there was a drought. Not just like not in my life, like specifically, but energetically, there was a drought. Like collectively, I felt things get really quiet. And I don't know what it was. It was like it was just very quiet, very low. Like interactions were very minimal. Exchanges, like business exchanges, were minimal. And it wasn't just my business, like other people's businesses were very like they were having
stagnant, like
yeah,
kind of like didn't do anything, or
yeah,
kind of a lull.
I felt like in March people were really holding on to their money and their time and their energy, like really protecting themselves. And I felt that like energetically, like putting shell around themselves.
Okay.
That was in March, and we're in March right now, but it's starting to liven up, and I think it's because we just changed zodiacs. We just went into Aries, yeah.
Okay.
So now things are kind of like we're all kind of stepping into our power. But I felt like we were all kind of closing out things and like letting things fall or processing loss and change. So that's kind of what I felt. And I also felt a big change collectively in December. Just things kind of started to rebalance, and that shifted the energy. But yeah.
Are you sensitive to the like Schumann resonance at all, or the electromagnetic energies?
I'm 100% sensitive to it because
I'll go with that, and I won't. I'll call up my friend. I'm like, did you just feel that, or like what, and it's very similar. And I'll look back on it like in the past. I won't look, kind of like line up what happened, and it usually lines right up as far as like.
Are you talking about collective energy, or are you talking
Oh,
about?
just like if for instance, there was a spike in energy at like 2 a.m. or a certain time, I'll get like kind of like I'll get that energized.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. They're like shifts.
Yeah, it comes in waves, and it's like
Yeah.
very, yeah.
I had a big shift. I had a small shift yesterday. I went to a fitness event, and I
Mhm.
was actually in a group setting. And in a moment, I felt really uncomfortable. And I mean, I'm around people and stuff, so I'm connecting to other people, and I forget sometimes that I'm psychic when I'm doing normal people things.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So you're just like in the zone and you're just doing your thing, and then suddenly your soul's like, did you forget that you're psychic? And you feel like a change in your body. And yesterday I felt this kind of uncomfortableness in my solar plexus for like a moment. And for that moment in time, I felt like this feeling doesn't feel right. And I felt like I kind of transported
Okay.
energetically for a moment. So that was like a shift in energy. And then I had one, it was like last week. I was driving and I suddenly felt my body go up.
Oh,
It was like a complete shift. Like it's like a raise in consciousness. It was like I changed um, energetic. It's like you're on a frequency, you're connecting with people, you believe in something, you're on it,
mhm.
everybody's on the same page. And then suddenly there was a big shift, and I didn't feel intimidated or small to a situation. I felt equal to the situation. But
Okay.
it was very like, it was really large and energetic. So it felt like a very big shift. It's almost like, and I'm a Reiki healer, so we
Mhm.
practice the atom kind of like climbing and coming down energetically, like the vibration coming up and coming down. So I felt my whole body kind of do that. So that was really interesting. So that felt very personal. But then I have collective ones where I suddenly just feel like a wave of chaos,
Right, right.
or,
Yeah, yeah. Mhm.
and then I'm like, and then everything kind of starts to tumble around me, let's say. And sometimes I feel like a wave of calmness. And that's usually very nice when there's just this kind of quiet
Just
and
quiet, no
collectively,
anxiety. Yeah, it's
like everyone's at peace. Wonderful. That's really nice. So I
but
feel,
it's, yeah, like anything, it just, yeah, the next wave, what's next? Yeah. Like,
yeah.
well, mine, I've had a last month or so, a couple of days where my energetic body is not in line with my physical. So
Okay.
I'll be walking and I'll slam my shoulder into the door frame, but and where I think I'm over here. So it's like I'll go to pick something up and it'll knock it over. It's just weird. I'll push something away, like grab a bottle and it'll tip over before I can grab it.
Oh, so you got telekinesis.
Yeah, and I have to learn how to use it because it can get, I'll knock stuff over. Um I had a very emotional moment in my kitchen, and
Yeah.
everything started swirling around me like I was the center of a hurricane, and a bottle flew into the wall, and I still have the bottle, and I put a piece of tape where it did that.
That's
Um,
incredible.
and as soon as I like calmed down, everything just dropped to the floor. So
Wow.
it was, I mean, yeah.
I believe you because I have something similar. I know it, I have it,
Mhm.
but it only comes to me when I'm incredibly stressed.
Okay.
And in my old apartment, I used to have a lot of plants on my wall, and I didn't sleep good at nighttime. I was constantly woken up by my neighbors and stuff.
Uh-huh.
And I got reached to such a stressful, nervous state where I actually created electrical impulses in my apartment, and things started to like shake and move around, and my plants started to like fall. And like I knew I was doing it because I'd be sleeping,
Hmm.
and but like be in like a half meditative state. and I'd have a moment where I'd feel the plants move, and then I would wake up and it would feel like literally I'm controlling the plants. So I know exactly what you're talking about. And I have like electricity that comes out of my fingers.
Oh, I have the sparks. Like
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I've created like the little, and I when I went to go pet Emma, it was like snap, 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 snap. It wasn't
Yeah,
static electricity. It was just, or like I wasn't running my feet on the carpet, kind of that
yeah,
kind of
yeah,
thing. It
yeah.
was like it was me.
And it only happens when I'm tense or like angry or frustrated.
And I'm
And
frustrated, or emotions are just like,
yeah, or I'm wired and excited about something. I can be
mhm.
going somewhere and then I open the door and zzz, and then I'm
And
like,
touchscreens are not very useful at that point. I'll go to
no.
touchscreen, I'll go black. I'm like,
But it's interesting that you say that because now that makes me wonder if like our tech has something to do with it. I'm thinking of this powerful human being, but it's possible that like we use so much phone and tablets and we're touching these like really powerful energetic devices. Like who's to say that we're not absorbing this stuff? You know what I mean?
I think that, but like I can tell if it's synthetic or if it's me, or you know what I mean? Like I've been able
Yeah.
to differentiate the two, and I know what you're saying because it's like, but I do digital detox, at least 2 days a week. I
Oh,
have
that's good.
to. I have to take a break, and then I've been I got a second generator. But have you heard of this?
It's backwards writing.
Oh, Spooky 2. It's a Rife generator.
Oh, I haven't. I'll take a look.
Yeah, it's I just got a second generator, but it uses the Rife frequencies. And I just uploaded some new presets, so I'm trying those out. But I did when I first got it was about 5 years ago. And I wasn't really sure. I hit the wrong program. I thought it was like a daily vitamin type thing. It's all with frequency. And I hit the sleep induction, and it was morning. I was having my coffee, and this next thing it knocked me out. I was out.
That's
So
crazy.
it was kind of like the placebo. I kind of proved that it does work. But
So when did you start experiencing your telekinesis?
I think when I was younger, I just wrote it off. Like I didn't, it was kind of one of those things I didn't. I would say maybe about 10 years ago, and 2019, I had some pretty profound experiences that kind of got rid of the ego, and then that crazy how much that's attached to opened it up where I was more probably it was going on, but I because I so much went away, like I wasn't so worried about everything. It stood out, like I could kind of like it wasn't just noise. It wasn't like that, busy, 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 when you slow down and then you can actually hear what's going on.
Yeah.
And I was able, and just getting more into that kind of like meditation and learning all that stuff. But just getting, kind of like pulling back and not just doing things or feeling obligated to do things for other people just because, I don't know, just learning to say no, I guess, or in a healthy way. I mean, I don't know if that makes sense.
It does make sense.
Yeah.
I mean, I think being capable of saying no is super powerful. I had to learn that growing up, most definitely, because it was just very easy to say yes because you wanted to please the person, but family, friends, all of those things. But the problem with that is that you actually don't know who the right people are for you. Like you don't know if they're really there for you or not because you're constantly saying yes to them to kind of make them happy. I actually lost a lot of my friends that I used to like say yes to once I started saying no.
Saying no, and then yeah.
And they just disappeared. All of a sudden they were gone. So
My thing was like they didn't match up. Like
yeah.
being an empath, like it was like what they were presenting wasn't what I saw.
Oh, I've gone through that. That
Yeah.
was a big part of my like waking up as a psychic was the
Have you ever replied to someone that they didn't actually say it? It was a thought in their head.
Yeah, I've had that.
And then they're just like, they run away, like they're like freaked out.
Most of my 20s, I was calling a lot of the men out that I was dating because I was constantly talking to them and they would talk to me and I'm like, stop lying. Like, this isn't how you actually are. And they were like, what? And I'm like, you're not showing up the way you are. It's driving me crazy. Like, tell me the truth. What do you mean? And like, this is who I am.
A lot of people don't, though. I mean, it's kind of slim pickings as far as, you know, like in that, because a lot of people choose that, you know, they won't just say what they really feel. They'll go whatever they think is the right answer, the right, you know, the conditioned response.
Yeah. And like in your 20s, you're still kind of like conditioned by your friends and like your social circles and your parents and like things like that. So you might not even know that you're being that way. Like someone could be calling you out because they're psychic and you have no idea what they're talking about because you're just trying to continue your unconscious pattern. And I actually went through that big time when I was younger. But what it made me realize was that I actually wasn't being honest as well. Like there was this kind of understanding that the fact that I was even there in that situation showed that I wasn't really being who I really was inside. Like there was a fear or an insecurity for me to be able to step out into my power and say like, this situation isn't for me, right? So I was already like, I had to mask myself. So I realized that later on in my life where I was like, yes, I was calling out that person for not being like really who they were, but I just
but you weren't presenting,
like, I was also not being me. So so that's pretty big time. And I go through many identities and I try to be very honest. I'm a Pisces rising, so I'm always mutating. Like I consider myself to be immutable. And I'm like a chameleon. Like a chameleon.
Yeah.
I'm always changing and like I change based off of like how I'm feeling or like where I am in my life or what I'm doing. And I just try to be as honest as possible when I change. Because I think that is the best thing that we could do.
I think, yeah. I used to get people would say I was intimidating. And at the time I was like, how am I intimidating? I didn't get it. But it was because generally like I was reflecting back onto them, kind of like I was being myself, and a lot of people get intimidated by people that are just very, you know, what you see is what you get. I think because I would say the things you weren't supposed to say, or I would do, you know, I wouldn't follow the I'd always have crazy questions. I actually had a friend that I've known for a long time, and he's kind of waking up right now, and he goes, yeah, I you know, now you would always say this stuff and I had no idea what you were talking about, but now it's like he's kind of figuring things out. And he said like, like, how did you know? And you know, everyone comes to different, you know, awarenesses at different points in their life. Like it's not a competition.
No, definitely not.
Yeah, it's and I just realized everyone's different. You know, everyone. You know, I'm me, and if you don't like it, that's fine. Just you know, don't waste my time about it.
I actually like being aware and waking up is a gift. It doesn't matter when you do it in your life. It's a gift because some people never do. Like some people stay unconscious their whole lives and they just have like a sudden wake up when they're older. And I think that like really old, like towards the end. And I think that that's probably the most difficult because if you wake up later in life, then you have all of that life to look back on when you were not completely aware. And then there is this kind of like, it's more difficult to recover from that because then there's more regrets if you didn't live the way you wanted to, or like.
Right. The longer you go, like, yeah.
it makes it more difficult, and I think it's more painful. And I see that from people around me and older generations. I think it's yes, I feel like some like it creates more grace too. Um,
Hmm.
like there's a certain kind of level of grace there that I notice, but also when you look in their eyes, you see so much pain, and I think that that is what makes it very difficult to kind of like wake up later in life. And you have like many stages of wake up. Like
Oh yeah. Yep.
I'm always shocked how many times I go through them. I've had so many of them now that I'm almost terrified of my next like ones that are going to come, because I'm probably going to have another one that's going to be major big, and I'm going to be like, oh, I could have done this and that and this and that, you know.
But then you got to say, well, I had to know all that. I had to learn and experience all this to
Yeah,
get to that point, and that's what I find is like just going back to something with fresh eyes or new, awareness, and just wow, like it's getting something completely different out of the same thing
yeah,
that I experienced years before.
yeah, I agree with that. My Reiki master teacher would always tell us that like you did the best that you can with what you knew you had then,
Hmm.
like the circumstances that you were in, like your consciousness in that, like your awareness of that, you did the best of like what you could do in that moment. So to never look back and say, oh, like if I knew I would have done different, or I should have made a different decision. It's like really, but actually not. Maybe you most likely probably would have made the same decision or the same choice, because you
Hmm.
literally had the same options and awareness at that time. So I agree with that too. Um, it's definitely important to look towards the future, and I think that
Oh
that's what, like this transit talks about too, is like it's time to like do it again. Like it's okay to like use your experience in the last like many years of who you were, and like to just like reinvent yourself and try different and do different, and never be afraid to change like yourself and like be different.
oh, I agree. Yeah, definitely. Because you get the people that kind of get stuck, and it's just like a loop,
Yeah.
and like when you say psychic, what do you, is there anything like, do you get visions, or is it what, just over like kind of general?
Sure. I mean, it's always different.
Hmm.
Um, I go through stages where one ability becomes more amplified than another one. So right now, well, actually, recently it stopped, but for about 3 months, so since like January until the beginning of March, I was having a lot of lucid dreams that
Okay.
were very prophetic and telepathic. And I had those for like 2.5 months. And that was actually where you saw like the explosion of dream videos on my YouTube, because they were so clear that I could basically talk about them and remember them. So that's one of those dreams now, one of those
Hmm.
psychic abilities now. And the reason I say that it's a psychic ability is because I know what to do for my clients when I wake up, and I know what one of my clients are going through, or like I'll
Hmm.
have a dream and suddenly I'll understand a session I had the day before. So I find that probably one of my most strongest abilities is getting information in the dream state. But then sometimes my clairaudience was very powerful during Christmas time in December. Suddenly it got incredibly amazing. And I actually feared clairaudience for a while, because I went through a lot of telepathic noise in 2023 till about 2025. And it was
Okay.
really difficult for me, because I could hear everybody's thoughts and stuff like that. And it was mixing with my own thoughts, because I would
Oh,
start
okay.
to have a dialogue, and it started to create a lot of stress for me, and I wasn't sleeping good because of it. It was like I would go to sleep, and it'd be like going like this
Just
all the time.
constantly. Were
Yeah,
you losing yourself in it, kind of,
I
or
was definitely losing myself in it. Yeah,
okay?
and it was hard to, and it was also mixed up with the fact that I was living in an older building where there was a lot of spirits. So they were all kind of like talking, you know. So the fact that the clairaudience came at a time where the telepathy got really quiet,
Okay.
the clairaudience was more magical because my mind was at peace. So I recovered from all of that. Okay. I
Right.
still
Okay.
have it now, but it's more maintained. I'm not like I'm not falling into it. I'm living my life and I have a calm mind, a peaceful mind. So in December, my mind got really clear, and then I was doing my client sessions, and suddenly the clairaudience got really clear where like a client would ask a question and suddenly I would get the information as a message. And it was so amazing. It was so accurate because I would start to trust it, and I would just say, like, I would get a client that would have like a relationship problem, okay? And it wouldn't really be clear in the cards, okay? And I'd shuffle, and then suddenly the voice would come and say she's having like financial difficulties with her boyfriend, okay? And I would ask her and say, "Are you having financial difficulties with your boyfriend?" And she'd be like, "Yes, that's one of our problems." No, 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 no. And I would be so blown away by my own ability, like completely blown away. So that's the clairaudience. It quieted down recently a little bit, and when it quiets down, I know that another ability is going to be amplified. You
Do
know
you
what I
think
mean?
that's like kind of like you're like working out, like you're kind of like flexing, you're working out that muscle or that specific gift, and then it just keeps kind of rotating through or just different.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, I totally believe that. And I think it's because I'm so, like, if you look at my business, I have so many different types of services and different things I offer.
I was like, okay. I'm like, oh shit, Mary's gonna want this, and this. I'm like, ah.
We don't have to talk about everything, but it's because of that that my abilities are always exchanging and changing.
Mhm.
And one of the things I realized was that no matter what I do, even if I do the most practical scientific service, like if I just do nutrition and I focus on a person's like intestinal system, I cannot avoid it. I will begin to feel their constipation. I will begin to feel the pain in my solar plexus or my sacral chakra. And I'm like, no, I wanted to take a break. That's why I'm doing this. And no matter what, I cannot avoid it. My mediumship, like the psychic mediumship, amplifies. So it doesn't matter what path I choose, like the psychic abilities, they change, they intertwine, they're always there. They don't they don't go away.
Right.
And that's actually been one of those things that I've just had to accept because I always ask for my abilities to get better because I never want to be not accurate. I think that the most difficult thing is when you make a mistake or you don't deliver something well. And so I'm always praying to have better abilities, but with better abilities comes with the understanding that like you're gonna have to feel everything. So
Would you say part of that, like, how some people just do have some clients that just don't take it, what you're trying to express, they're not getting it,
when
like.
you're blocked,
Mhm.
hmm sometimes I'll get a client that will come in already very resistant.
Mhm.
And those clients, I have to tell them, like, before I even get in, like, if I can't see properly, I have to tell them, hey, I need you to open up your energy a bit. Or, hey, I need you to calm down. Because sometimes they come in very stressed and I can't see past their chaos.
Right, yeah.
And, but the blocked and the resistant ones, they're typically coming in already with a fight. Like sometimes I'll get a warning. So like a client's calling and let's say it's a new client and I'm looking at the message and suddenly I get this feeling in my body and I'm like, it's going to be a difficult one. And I already can feel it. And those ones are very difficult because sometimes you can't change it. Even if you get a warning, you can't change it for some reason. You're not fast enough. It's like they come in and they start to fight you. And I even notice it in the cards where I begin to predict the current events happening fast enough that it's not fast enough to change the circumstance. So they're so resistant that they fight you, and they're incapable of receiving, and as a result, they're not able to welcome the energy in, and they're not able to receive the messages in. But those kind of clients shouldn't be calling like
No, I get, but
you
do you
know?
find though, like by doing that, it gets easier as you go? Kind of like it's almost like
What
dealing with that, or like you just you it's like dealing with it like a difficult customer, trying to like work with that person,
yeah, it makes me more
knowing how to
resilient.
like navigate.
Yeah, it makes me more resilient.
Right.
The challenging clients, like I have one client, I'm not going to use his name, but I love him so much because
Hmm.
he was really difficult at the very beginning. And it was because he was learning how to trust me, because my clients are they're letting me in, right? I'm a
Right. Yeah.
psychic and I'm watching their life. Sometimes I see their homes in my
Don't look at
eye.
mine. Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, um, and so I can understand the resistance in letting me in and trusting this person that is getting really deep into their soul, right?
Hmm.
So he was very difficult at the beginning. He'd fight me, project his distrust, and like all of this deception that he would project towards me, and sneaky behavior and manipulation. And I'd see right through it, right? But it would stress
Hmm.
me out, and I would have to constantly um, empathize, set boundaries, don't cross the line. And it was a consistent, like over and over and over and over again
Hmm.
until it reached a point where the dynamic became healthy, and you can see that it has made change, and it has made me better at it, and it has made me stronger, more resilient to handle clients like this. Because
Like it's not like you're not like, oh, it's kind of like you got this kind of like,
yeah, yeah,
yeah,
definitely
you have
now
the
I'm more like, I don't know if it's at the gym, but
yeah.
energetically I'm more like I'm ready to handle the the fight. But it's not, sometimes the clients that come in that are very ready to fight, and they're fighting you, and they don't give you a chance to talk, and they're just there to damage you. Because I've had people that would just come in and they would try to damage you.
Right. Oh
They're
yeah.
just trying to hurt you, they're just trying to prove a point that doesn't exist. and
Hmm.
uh, and those kind of clients I never want to speak to again.
Right.
You
Yeah.
know
It's
what I
like,
mean? They're just there to hurt you.
yeah.
So those ones I learned to deal with. The way I learned to deal with them is to cut them off.
Yeah, that's a good way. Yeah, because
Just block them. Don't call me again. You're not here for my help. You're here to cause problems.
and
So
yeah, it's like those people that will never be happy no matter what you do.
yeah,
Like
yeah,
they're not willing to work. They don't want to do any work.
yeah. But some of them, like I studied some psychology and I did a mental wellness coach. Some of them, they fight as their way of releasing pain.
Okay.
They fight as their dance. That's how they dance with you. And I know this because they come back each time to do the dance with you, and they grow from it. I don't, it's just their way of,
Yeah, like
it's
how.
their way to heal. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
And as long as you don't cave, they actually get stronger, and they begin to respect you more, and they actually become stronger themselves. And I don't know why, but it's usually like people need to release most of the time, and they need someone there to be able to release on and just kind of bounce off of.
Right.
So
I get that.
yeah,
Yeah. Well, I don't. It's 9:10, so I don't know. I didn't want to keep you all night,
that's all right.
um and I'm also like, I think what it is, I internalized all my inner thoughts and everything. So the last couple years is me learning how to, I guess, express it in a way that makes sense. If that, or I'm pushing myself to be more engaged on with people. I think I'm just trying to see. And I suck at multitasking because I'm like, squirrel. But
That's all right.
let me see.
The fact that we are watching this and understand it. Yeah. My sis joined a new religion they don't believe. What religion is that?
Religion, or there's a lot of cults out there.
We are lapsed Catholics. We are all psychic. I think Catholics are the most psychic of them all. I think that I think Catholicism is incredibly psychic. And I mean like the ones that are like really deep into the occult Catholicism, like into the ancient Catholicism, they are really psychic. Because they're not denying their spiritual gifts.
Oh, right. They're not like it's not the devil, or it's
Yeah,
just
exactly.
I get that. I think and religion is so I think it's how you use it or how you approach it, what you get out of it. Like, I don't like people that use the Bible as a weapon.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's supposed to be a thing to grow and learn from it, and it not take it so. That's why I don't like to impose like on other. The control thing. A lot of people like to control others or control the situation, and I'm not really like that. I'm like, whatever. So
yeah, I mean, religion is not the problem. The problem is the person.
Yeah.
And that's if the person is unconsciously projecting their low vibrational egomaniac perception of reality and using onto the Bible or onto the Quran or whatever religion that you follow, then it automatically becomes a very dangerous dogma, and that creates a lot of scary results as we see in the world. But if a person has done internal work and they've raised their vibration and they've become conscious of their energy and conscious of others and just change themselves in a way that is they've enlightened themselves, then when they use the Bible or they use the Quran or they reflect on it, they see it. Yeah, it becomes reflected back into them. And I've read a couple of different religious books, and every time I read the same page in a different stage of my life, it means something different. And it's because it's like poetry. Like you're just looking into a mirror and it's showing you who you are. And that's what the issue is. It's like, it's not religion that's the problem. It's humanity collectively not growing, not being educated,
being closed.
Yeah, being closed. Yeah,
going through life with blinders on and not being open to new things. Like my dad was someone that knew it all. He knew everything better. That's so, for me, that'd be so claustrophobic, just not, I don't know. Because I don't know. Like, the more you know, the more you realize you don't know.
Yeah, absolutely. That's why I'm such a huge knowledge seeker, because I am always like connecting the dots with different things. And when I learn something new, I'm suddenly like, oh my God, there's so much more that I don't know because I just figured this out. And if I figured this out, then just imagine what else is possible. So definitely, I think that is probably the most valuable thing that we can have is information and knowledge and creation, like innovation and science and history. Like, we need those things. And and the fear of that being destroyed, that there's a problem, right?
Well, also like history. I know that history has been, there is history, and there's the mainstream narrative, but I don't really. That's more of a control the narrative. But
Yeah.
like, there's things in history like buildings and monuments that you just can't explain. So being open to the fact that maybe not everything, and there's books out there that they don't talk about because it destroys their their control or whatever. With like didn't they leave out several books of the Bible, and there's a lot of
There's like several editions and stuff. Like the original is
right.
supposedly in the Vatican, but I don't really know. I have no idea. I'm not like religious.
I'm
I
not, no.
I'm Catholic, but I don't like I don't follow religion, and my mom knows a lot more about the history of like different religions. She would know how to answer your question. I don't know, but I'm sure I know that the scripts were rewritten several times.
Oh, and like lost in translation, and
Yeah.
I get that.
And when they're rewritten based off of that person's perception of reality. So it's like you're already tainting what's been natural.
Oh,
And
it's like it, but it's everyone. It's your perception. It's your view, like that. So 3 people can be at the same place, same time, but all have different experiences because yeah.
And then when it's translated, it means something different because like when you translate from one language to another, it's like it's already changing the meaning.
Or they don't have the same words, so they have to
Like if you were to translate the English Bible to the Polish Bible, it's a complete different, like you're reading those words and you're seeing something different.
I know, like Poland's one of the few European countries that are still very like, you're not gonna take our culture away. They're very
We're very proud of like
yeah. I've been to Europe. I've been to mostly England and France. I went backpacking, but I speak French somewhat, but it's like one of those things where I'd like to go back, but I don't know if this is the right time to go. With all the, I don't know. I think
you should just like take a chance. This is the perfect time to go. Saturn and Aries, just take a chance.
There's things I want to do here though. Yeah, I don't. Yeah, I have some ideas. So, what do you have coming up, or what do you got? Anything that you're working on?
Yeah. Oh, this is a good opportunity right now to show you guys my website. So, give me a second here.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just going to share it for everyone to see. All right. Do you guys see it? Oh, okay, right here. Do you see it? You have to let it in.
Let me see. Got it. Okay. There you go. Yep.
Awesome. So this is my pride and joy. This is my app. It's called the Soul Food Fitness app. And you can just go to soulfoodfitness.app on any browser, and you can download this as a web app or a mobile app on your phone. And this is a health and life coaching app. It has all of my services on it: tarot, nutrition, mental wellness coaching, astrology, dream analysis, Reiki healing, training, astrology, and more. Okay. And you can do all of your sessions in your user dashboard or while I'm online. So if I sign out, sometimes when I'm online, it shows right here, and you can actually call me if you have any questions. If you have a tarot question or astrology question or a nutrition question, or you just need guidance and help, you can go here and you just click on any of these, whether it's chat, audio, video, and you can just talk to me. As a client, I'll just show you guys here what you get as a client. As a client, this would be your user dashboard, and you can basically share your thoughts and feelings. So you can write about what you're feeling, what you're going through on a daily basis. You can share it with me or not share it with me. I also have resources that I sell. So like you can get videos on here and things like that. It's loading very slowly. No videos yet, nothing put up here on your user dashboard. But basically it's a health life coaching app, and you guys can grow with me and book your sessions with me, do online training, fitness training, tarot readings, psychic readings, astrology readings, etc. So that's it.
That's cool. It's all, yeah, one-stop shop. And your 3 video channels, you know,
Yeah.
I've gone through those, and
Join my YouTube channels. Yes.
yes, I
Please
have
and
those. I did. Oh, this
and
one.
you know, I love YouTube. I'm trying to become a YouTube star. Yeah.
I'm learning. I'm getting there, but yeah, it's just the.
I now have 270 subscribers. Thank you very much. Very happy about that.
Yeah.
And
I subscribed. Yep.
Thank you. It's gone up a little bit. So do subscribe. I have 3 channels. I have one channel where I do most of my fitness stuff, and I combine my 2 other channels in that one channel. Then I have Curative Remedies, where I just do strictly nutrition, food, supplements, and herbs. And then I have Psychic Therapy for the Soul, where I do tarot readings, like timeless tarot readings, astrology I have yet to put in, and dream analysis and like dream subconscious videos. And so this is obviously to just enjoy and learn from. It's my passion right now. That's actually like what my focus is. It's actually what I enjoy. So you know, if you guys have like ideas and things like that, and you wanna subscribe and you want to share what you want to see, please let me know. Yeah, thank you, Joyce. I really appreciate that.
Have you come across the printed meat yet?
Printed meat?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I was actually reading about that. It's like digital printed meat.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know yet because I haven't done any research on it. I don't know what they do or what.
Oh, it's a little terrifying, but I mean, I'm like, that's the thing with nutrition. I mean, just
I believe in whole foods, plant-based foods, natural foods.
I do too, but it's getting even more expensive and harder to find because even like with Appeal, have you heard of that? It's like they spray. It's called Appeal, and they will spray it on organic food, and it's like, have you ever seen it when someone will try to open a banana, it's like Play-Doh?
Yeah, I don't buy
Oh, well, no, I know, but I'm saying they can spray it. You don't even know it's on there.
Yeah, I know that now in our food system we have like diluted our nutrients and our vitamins and minerals because our soils have been contaminated with like pollution and pesticides and herbicides and fertilizer and all of those things. Mm-hmm. So it is more difficult now to get like the food that was natural back in the day.
You have to supplement it now.
Yeah, it's really important now to like take vitamins and supplementation so that you get your nutrients in. But yeah, but supplements are only 10%. You still have to eat food that is naturally grown and like plant-based and nutrient dense, and pay attention to your quality of your meat, making sure it's like grass-fed, antibiotic-free, pasture-raised, because the way the animals are treated is also important when you're consuming animal products. And you know, staying away from aisle foods and focusing more on like produce, because you know the body is precious and you got to treat it like it's your temple. You know, you live in it and you live in your body, so you might as well treat it with respect.
The farmers market will be opening soon. That I'm looking forward to that. You know, I can go down there and get good food for a decent price.
Yeah. And
yeah, that's that B3 I got. Was it B3 or B6? B6.
Oh, you got the B6 now.
Yeah, I got the B6.
Awesome. So we're gonna be dreaming now. Make sure to take that with other B vitamins.
Okay. Yeah.
They got to work together in order for it to so that you don't have an imbalance and for them to be assimilated in the body.
And yeah. Okay.
Awesome.
Well, thank you so much.
You're
I know
welcome.
Mary is very appreciative for you to short
I
notice, and you're
appreciate
welcome
you, Mary,
anytime.
for putting
Huh?
me on here. I appreciate Mary for putting me on here.
Yeah. So, well, thank you so much. It was good to see you so soon. It wasn't a year this time. So
Yeah, just like a few days actually, or like
yeah.
1 week. Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So yeah, if anything's coming up or if you want anything,
Yeah,
just keep us posted and we'll get back to you. And thank you again and enjoy the rest of your evening. And thank you everyone for showing up. And Mary and I will be back on Thursday live. So
Thanks for watching me.
yeah. And everyone, click subscribe, both our channels. Come on. Let's so all right. Well, you have a good one and thanks everyone. Have a good night. Too many boards going on. Y'all hit the end.